A package in the mail, MSX games from Japan. Collecting without fail, those shoot 'em ups, and that's the plan. He doesn't just collect them, he also codes them too. Join us and we'll go on electric adventures with you.
Hey YouTube, Electric Adventures here with my channel update and vlog for September 2019. A very busy month. Some changes in the game room which you can't see because you're not pointing at the right spot. And some shuffling things around due to one of my children moving home. So she'd been out of the house for 3 years, so we had made changes inside the house so that my wife could have a dedicated sewing room. So we shuffled some things around a little bit. I won't do a video of this part of the room just yet because it's still a bit of a mess behind me, still shuffling things around. What we'll do, I'll show you. So we have another storage shed. I have mentioned that in the past. So what I did, I added some more shelving in that storage shed, sort of like a centre aisle, which allowed me to get there was just stuff all over the place. You could barely walk on the thing. So I've got everything off the floor. We do need to get some more standard storage boxes. We've bought storage boxes over the years and they're all different sizes, and some of the cheaper ones don't stack very well nor last very long. So I need to tidy those. But anyway, I had like a temporary hack together workbench in there that was just covered in rubbish. There was stuff underneath it, lots of PCs, because I've written computer software for many years for lots of different businesses, and I usually end up looking after their computers as well, and usually when I upgrade computers people usually give me the old one, so I have lots of PC bits. So what I did, I actually ended up stripping down most of those PCs because the shelves take up so much room. Kept the motherboards and the CPUs and the RAMs and the floppy drives and the CD drives and the cables and things like that, and some of the power supplies, and I've gotten rid of the cases because they take up so much storage space. But the main thing I did, I went out and I bought a brand new bench, put in some more shelves, because I had my electronics work area just inside this room, just inside the door, if you have a look at my past videos. And it was fine, it was a good workbench, but there was nowhere to stack the projects that I was working on, because obviously I've collected a lot of stuff. Most of the stuff's working, but there is still a large percentage of stuff that is not. And also in the last 2 years I've gone from having about 6 arcade boards to over 60 arcade boards, and a large number of those have just been swapped and traded in bunches, and there's quite a few ones that are not working. And they were just sitting in boxes in the corner of the game room here, and there was a big stack from previous videos that you would have noticed going up here. So I've made a room, I've got a special top shelf where I've got all the arcade boards stacked nice and neat. Each of them are now individually bubble wrapped with labels. I haven't repaired a lot of them. I mean, I've gone through and tested them and I know the ones that work. I've made a lot of harnesses, or harness converters, so I can test them. So I'm now ready to enter the testing phase, and I have a lot of spare parts over the last few months. I've got Z80s, I've got RAM chips, I've got lots of capacitors and things like that. So having that area set up there with lots of little containers to put all the parts, my soldering iron set up, and an oscilloscope that my friend Gary gave me that I haven't actually played with yet, was something I really wanted to do. So, me moving my electronic stuff from this side of the room here out to there allowed my wife to move her sewing to over this area of the room here. Said I will do a video on that part later. So, to explain this a little better, let's go and have a look at the storage area as it is now. Right, here is the Electric Adventures storage shed. It is still quite, what shall I say, quite a mess, but it is sort of getting organised with these various racks. And the new addition, which is the main thing I wanted to show you, was this new area. So this is where I've moved my electronics workbench to. So we have the oscilloscope that my friend Gary gave me, my good quality soldering iron, lots of storage for parts and various things. There's a stereo here, and up here I have all my arcade boards. So these are all of my arcade boards that aren't in a machine, and you know, a fair percentage of them are not working, need to be repaired. I mean, go back 2 years and I probably had half a dozen arcade boards, so I definitely have increased a lot. So, but I've done lots of trades and things like that to get them, and now I can enjoy sitting there and slowly getting into repairing them and things. So then we have here I have my jammer testing harness and a good power supply, and this LCD monitor which rotates, so it's good for doing horizontal and vertical. There's a video converter board down there, and I've got my little PVR there for hooking up composite stuff. The whole thing, I can turn all the power off just by flicking that switch there, and there's another easy to access power point there for the things I want to turn on and off. I'm thinking of getting an older TV mount and putting this little CRT up there for testing any of the retro computers when I'm fixing them, and then we'll slowly standardise on proper boxes and everything like that in here. There's a lot of things here, a lot of costumes for my dance costumes for my girls and things that my wife makes. And this centre aisle here will be for basically all of the retro gear that needs to be repaired or is just stored that can't be displayed. And I'm slowly working through this area just on the left here with getting rid of old PCs and stripping them down and things and rearranging the storage. So it's just a quick update of my new electronics workbench. Right, I hope you liked that quick look at my new electronics workbench and storage area. I'm very much looking forward to starting to get into some projects. I do need to, the lights are not working in there. I've got to get a new fluorescent tube, and probably the only one that is working in there I probably need to replace, so they're both a nice colour. I do have a desk lamp in there for extra light, but just need to fix the light, get a nice stool to sit in there and things like that. I've got a radio so I can sit there and do some fixes, and maybe if the light's decent enough, maybe I might be able to video some of them and show you guys at some stage. But I haven't had enough trouble getting stuff done as it is, so it is very hard to video everything that I do. So that was, you know, that took up a large percentage of the month, moving things around, and I've only really just got the game room, this part, a little bit neater. It is still a mess, so when I get all that cleaned up I'll probably do another new updated room tour, and I may still move a couple more things around now that I've started and gotten into the spring cleaning mood. So ooh, pardon me. I did get a couple of pickups this month, only a couple. I actually got a new Switch game. Now I don't actually own a Switch. I have my youngest daughter's Switch, which she no longer plays. She seems to be letting me use it, and this was on special, and I did actually want it when it originally came out, but I've been trying to not spend too much money. So it is Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. Now I believe you can play the classic edition as well. I've only really started playing it and just playing the HD edition so far. Really love this game on the Sega Master System, so it's very cool getting a modern remake, and not very expensive, so I was happy to get that for the Switch for the amount of play. And I do a lot of Dad's taxi stuff, so I do find that the Switch is quite handy for carrying in the car and playing while I'm waiting. Although I'm actually considering, if I'm going to get a Switch for myself, I might get one of the slim models, because that's when I actually generally play it, and obviously my daughter's one I might hook up to the dock and leave hooked up to a TV in the house somewhere maybe, and that might be better for because I do have a couple of shooters, and that might be better for me to be able to play those. Now my next pickup is a gift from my friend Brendan, who drops in occasionally. He goes around the tip shops and finds various things. He got this very cheap, I think for like 50 cents, so he gave it to me, and it is a PC game, Axis and Allies, and it actually has everything in it bar the CD. That's why it was 50 cents, but the box is in absolutely fantastic condition. There's a slip cover like that. That's the inside box, and it actually has everything else in there, and it looks, you know, the insides look like they've never been touched, so obviously the person who owned it took the game out and put everything else away and kept it in good condition. And because, you know, finding a loose PC game is a lot easier than finding a complete one, so one day we'll find a disc to go with this game. And I actually, Axis and Allied is actually probably a game that I would enjoy playing. So I'm looking forward to one day finding that. Now next, this has only been here a couple of days, so I haven't had time to play with it. And this is for my Apple II. Yes, you're going to be able to see the logo here because it actually comes in two pieces and I put it together. It's called a booty or bootai. It goes into the Apple II instead of a disc controller, and then you put a USB stick in here, and basically you put hard drive images on it, so 32K hard drive images. You can put a lot of games on a 32K hard drive image for an Apple II, and you can have multiple hard drive images on there. And when it boots up, I believe, I haven't actually tried it yet, so I've only had it a couple of days and I haven't tried it. It comes up with a menu that lets you select the hard drive image, and then it boots the Mac with that hard drive mounted. So I'll be doing a specific separate video on this. I'm probably going to wait. I don't have a colour correction crystal for my Apple, so everything's in black and white. And although it is very nostalgic playing an Apple in black and white, it's probably not as much fun as if we had some colour. So I'm going to muck around with that, see if I can get a crystal first, and at a later stage I'll do a video and we'll go through and have a play together. Actually quite like playing with the Apple II of late. Probably spurred on by my fellow Press Play on Type podcast member Aaron, who has been playing with the Apples a bit. And when we did last month that display at the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery, he had an Apple II there, and it was actually quite fun playing with it. And I'd never really gotten mine out and played with it properly, so I've actually been doing that a little bit. Alright, so that is actually all the pickups. So as I said, not a tremendous amount of pickups this month. But there was another event about a week ago. A good friend of mine, Ty, who basically took over from one of the arcade suppliers and placement people down here, and where quite a few of my arcade boards have come from, as he's cleaned out his old stock. So he has whittled down his machines to ones that earn him money and have a few pinballs and everything like that. And what he's going to do is gone into cooperation with a bar called the Winston here in Hobart, and they've made a little mini barcade. And we went to the grand opening last Friday night, so everything was all on free play for that particular night. Obviously it'll be charged in the future, just play per game. And it actually had, there's actually 4 pinballs there now in. I've captured some video and some pictures, but I actually forgot about the pinball that's actually out in the bar itself. They've got a dedicated room for the barcade, but there is actually one more pinball, and that pinball up there is actually an Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade pinball, which is a really good fun pinball, which we actually played when we first got there, but I forgot to take video of it, so you'll have to excuse me. So let's go and have a look at what's there. And it's not a huge room, but it's got quite a nice selection of games to play. So let's go and have a look at that now. So as you can see, there's quite a nice selection there. 3 pinballs, a couple of gun games, a couple of cabinets with 60s and 1s, and even a bit of a nice classic foosball table there. and lots of variety, and very nice pub with some very good beers and some amazing burgers. There's a burger called the Winston as well, which I haven't tried. I'm going to have to go back there with my wife and try the Winston burger, although apparently it's a bit of a big burger, so we'll have to see how we go with that. And if I get back there next time, I'll take pictures of the indie pinball and share it with you guys. So I really enjoyed going to have a look at that, and I'll definitely be dropping in to the Winston and playing a game on an occasion. Obviously have to pay when I go next time, but that's okay. That makes you appreciate each game of pinball and that little bit more, and I hope it is successful, because that's the first sort of one of those here in Hobart, Tasmania, so it'd be very nice if it succeeds and is well supported. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so next, I'm getting very excited. It's only just under 2 weeks, it's actually probably only a week and a half to go before I head off to Melbourne. And I haven't actually been on trip for a little while. Go across to Melbourne to go to Pax Aus 2019. I haven't been to Pax, I've only ever been to one other Pax, and that was the original one in Australia, which was, I think, either 5 or 6 years ago. My God, time flies. I actually did a talk at that one too. I'm not doing a talk at this one, but I am helping out in the retro and classic gaming area, helping the guys there. And also on the Friday, I believe at around 4 o'clock, going to get together with Aaron and some special guests, and we're going to record a special episode of the Press Play on Tape podcast, which is good because we haven't actually been able to record one for quite some time, because Aaron, who runs the podcast, has been busy with other things and family, but now he wants to get back into it. And we have some other Press Play on podcast episodes planned as well, so we're going to try and keep it rolling. Try and, once every month, at worst case every 2 months, we're going to get a new podcast out, because it is fun to do, and we've been enjoying doing it. So look for me there at PAX. I'll probably be wearing a Press Play on Tape podcast t-shirt. I was thinking of getting Electric Adventures t-shirts for me to wear, not to sell to anybody, but I don't think I can get those done in time, because my logo that I don't have a high-res version of it. So I'm waiting on the good graces of one of my eldest daughter, who's a graphic artist, to try and make me a new Electric Adventures logo. So maybe in the future we'll have, I'll be able to wear some Electric Adventures t-shirts. But I'll probably take my Atari shirt, or Back to the Future. I'll take some other retro gaming shirts. So find me there at Pax Aus. I'll probably be hanging around in the retro gaming area pretty much the entire time. Well, of course I will look around at the other things. And happy to talk to any of you guys out there, and it'd be good to meet some of the YouTubers and other retro enthusiasts on mainland Australia that travel to PAX. So very much as God to that, because I've been away for that sort of thing for a very, very long time. Alright, one more thing, a little bit of a quick homebrew update on Sydney Hunter and the Caverns of Death for the NES. I have actually made some more progress on the game. I'm not going to show any video in this update, because I'm putting together a video that will be the next video release probably in about 3 or 4 days. I'm working through all of the logic of the puzzles in all of the levels at the moment. I have all of the level maps in, all the entries and exits. I have all the lava logic done, so that obviously you've got a map and the lava is down here and needs to rise up through the levels. It's actually quite complicated to work all that out. I'm still going okay on space on the cartridge, for the cartridge we've got. I just have lots of little things to fix. There's a couple of little collision glitches and things like that when you're jumping and things like that. And I fixed another bug where you constantly got killed by bumping your head, and now I've got another bug where sometimes you can jump through the ceiling, so I need to fix that. I've adjusted the speed of things, fixed the boomerang. So before it used to go out, the boomerang used to hit something and then just disappear. Now it actually leaves a hit marker, continues travelling, so you can hit a boomerang and hit something, it'll go through it, come back, and then hit it again on the way back through, which is more like the SNES version of the game. and I have been playing the SNES version of the game a little bit more just to get, because I have to play each level to work out exactly where all the monster placements are. Although we have a slightly different aspect ratio for the NES for the SNES, so it is a little harder to fit some things on the screens, but I adjust them as I think would make an appropriate challenge. But it also makes it good. It means the NES game is going to be slightly different to the NES one, so I'll give you a slightly different challenge. Quite enjoying it. I'm getting very, very close now. JF has actually supplied a different set of opening screens that match the Super Nintendo one. I'm leaving them to last because I don't want to put those in and then not have enough ROM space for the game. So get the game finished and then see whether I can retrofit those in, but they'll only go in if I've got enough space in the cartridge. I can't really compress things any further than I am. And really it's just, it's got a bit more play testing and tidying up to do. Obviously I have a very busy job. I have 4 children, and I also like to make the occasional video and play a game occasionally, so I don't have a lot of time for retro programming. I would love to do it all the time if I could, but unfortunately I have to do a real job and eat and everything like that, as I'm sure a lot of people out there have to do as well. But anyway, I'll have a specific video on that. I'll probably focus on most of the new features they haven't seen before, so like the lava rising. I'll probably concentrate on different levels, say like level 3. You're probably sick to death of level 1 now, because that'll show a few of the other different collectible objects and how the puzzles get a little bit more complex. So I'll probably put that video together. Probably I'll record it on the weekend now, because I've got a few busy nights ahead of me at the moment. So yeah, I'll get around to that then. So a bit more of a rambly video this month, but definitely still enjoying my retro gaming, and actually interesting enough, all the spring cleaning and moving is great, because it means I haven't played with that thing for a while and I get it out. So I actually played with some of my retro computers and mucked around with them, because that's the thing, I moved my retro games computers from this side of the room to that side of the room, so I had to tear it all down and build it all back up. And I've even rebuilt it so I can actually have more of them plugged in than I had before. So it's yeah, what can I say? I don't just get retro computers for them to sit on the shelf. I love playing with them, same as the consoles and things like that. So, alright, I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.